Hi, welcome to Portrait 3. We are going to begin like the other ways we've begun, and that is just working on our background. So at the moment, I am putting a matte medium into my white. I'm just going to mix that in. And we have our cadmium orange. So I'm actually kind of curious to see what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm mixing my grayscale first. And I can tell that I'm trying to match. Okay. So I'm trying to match my grayscale first before I add my hue in. Um, and that looks actually pretty good. If I were to redo this again, I would probably add my matte medium in after I've mixed my paint. But it looks really good, so it worked out. I'm not sure. I wish I knew my reasoning for doing that, but it's actually going on really smooth. So that seemed to work out really well. I just added my matte medium to my white first and mixed that in. And that's the only thing that I added then. So it looks pretty smooth, it looks pretty even. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about it. All right, that was fast. All right, next up I am doing my graphite transfer. And I'm measuring it out and testing with my fingernail to make sure that I have it on the right side. And you just want to make sure that your tape is secure down to the table as well. And here, usually I kind of cut off the edges of my transfer paper. And I haven't done that here. So I'm just reworking it, making sure it's on there straight. So you can kind of feel with your fingertips where it's supposed to be. It's not always going to be completely perfect, but as long as it's like somewhat in the middle, then you're going to be okay. You can fake things later on. Okay, so the same as always. I kind of start around the outside of the face first. It's just the way I do it. Do you have to do it the same? No, you do not. We all have our different ways of doing everything. And I'm trying to find the shadows. So how I did it here was I kind of did a layering effect where I did my darkest shadows and then kind of worked my way out. It kind of helps me figure out my gradient from light to dark. And then here, just adding in the small details of the eyes. Again, if you need more information to help you out later with your painting, like say there's a specific highlight that you really don't want to forget about or you want to know where it's located, add that information in. And you can always get a white graphite transfer paper if that is something, if you think more like when you do your transfers, that might be an easier way for you to transfer is like pinpoint the highlights. They have that option available. In fact, they have transfer paper and pretty much for sure in all the primary colors and then white and black. So you can really use them to your advantage if you want to. So she has such beautiful skin and smooth skin that sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge when you have somebody with perfect skin. Because you have to make sure that you are blending very well to the point where it looks like a very flawless gradient transition later on. So at this moment in time, I think it almost kind of looks very silly when you draw these lines over their face because it's so perfect, and then you're adding in these things that sort of like mimic wrinkles when they don't have any. So just do your best. If you have a hard time finding your highlights, midtones, and shadows, you can always squint your eyes and they'll pop out a little bit better. Another trick is if you are using Canva to help you with your prep, your reference photo prep, and your printout, you can adjust the contrast of your photo so you can see that better. But keep in mind, when you do adjust your contrast, you're also going to be adjusting the way you look at your reference photo and how much contrast is actually there. And to be completely blunt, if you over contrast your portraits, they're not going to look as realistic as they could. One simple small trick about creating realism in portraits is trying to maintain that what is it even called? It's like a neutral tone where not everything is so like contrasting bright, and everything is sort of in the middle, blended somewhat neutrally. uh, I'm going to hold that thought, so you spray it with fixative, and I will see you in the next class.